When producing video content, I found that after converting the video to YouTube, the colours sometimes look really washed out and maybe overexposed and so on. So I've been playing about with a couple of cameras, and I thought I would do a comparison between the camera that I have been using, which is here on my right. It's a Canon HF S21. The camera on my left here is a Sony NX5, which is obviously a much more professional camera. So what I wanted to do was kind of do a side-by-side comparison, as much for my own purposes as anything else. But I thought it might be useful to blog this and put it out as a video just for other people to see. So I've done what I can with my limited knowledge. I've set the exposure levels as best I can. I set the lighting levels. Now, the way I'm recording this, I've got two cameras, and I'll show these in a second on a tripod, mounted side by side. I've got two separate radio mics, and I'll do another thing on that because that's a comparison I also wanted to do. One on each camera. So I'm taking film at the same time on both cameras. Now, one of the problems I've got is the Canon here on my right is a UK camera, so it's PAL 25 frames a second. The camera on my left is an NX5U, which is a USA camera, so that's 29.97 frames a second or something. So there are differences. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out when I mix the two together and see what they look like. What I'm going to try and do on the video is put the two things side by side. Anyway, this is as best as I can get the camera set up with my limited knowledge and experience of using these kind of cameras. I've purposely done it in this room with the colour wall behind me there, just so I can get some colour depth. I think there's reds going down to oranges here. There's some greens and blues mixed together, so that should give. And obviously my face. So I put myself in the centre of the screen to try and get the sense of the skin tones. I thought I'd. I don't know how close I can get without it going out of focus. Probably quite close. I have got some lighting over here, so that's sort of artificially yellowing it out. So I've set up the white balances and everything, so from here it's okay. Anyway, that's a basic video comparison of those two cameras. I'll now show you. I'll take some video using a DSLR just to show you what the camera setup looks like, so you can see for yourself how I'm recording this. Okay, so here's the test setup. If I just take a step back there, there is a TV behind the cameras. It's just I happen to have one of the cameras plugged into it. No reason other than just a live sort of video check. Anyway, you can see what I've got set up there. Simple light box using the ceiling to reflect light. I have got a window here, so there's a lot of daylight coming in as well, so it's quite hard to balance the light. But the basic setup here is there's a tripod. I've got the Canon camera mounted here. You can see I've got the monitor screen. You can see me in that. There's a radio mic attached to that camera. I've also got the NX5 cam, which is there. And again, there's not quite sure how well this is being captured. There's another radio mic here attached to that. That's the Sony one that I reviewed before. So pretty simple setup, just on a tripod there, and recording into the cameras. Okay, so back on the NX5 camera. Slightly different setup now. The last footage that I took with this camera and the Canon side by side, I had artificial lighting, so I was using a light box, and it was actually nighttime. Today it's bright sunshine. You can see on my hands there that I'm facing. I've got a window over here with the sun coming in, and it's not sun. It's just bright daylight. It's not direct sunlight. And what I thought I'd do is just take a little bit of footage with that setup. All I've done with the camera is set the white balance and set the aperture just so it's not overexposed or washed out. And there's another sample of the NX5 in different lighting conditions. Actually, the NX5 is also much more forgiving in lower light conditions. So whereas the Canon HF S21, as soon as the light levels come down, you start to see a lot of grain really quickly, a lot of noise on the sensor. In the NX5, it's more forgiving. You can get lower light levels. There's much better performance in that regard. Is another good reason, which means I need less lighting to create fairly good quality video content. A quick note on the footage I took with the DSLR camera. It was a Canon 550D. It's the camera that I normally use for you know, taking high resolution stills, and I've got various lenses and so on and so forth for that. I don't like using the DSLR for taking video footage. I always find the focus system doesn't quite work as well as it should. You would have seen that the first part of the footage that I took, it was slightly out of focus, and it was on autofocus, so it obviously you just couldn't find anything to focus on. The other big problem with the DSLRs is the sound system. It's very basic on those cameras. I mean, I know Nikon and Canon have started to improve that because of the recent uptake in videographers using DSLRs, particularly in making film, where you've got, you know, making programming where you need those interchangeable lenses, and in the DSLR market, those lenses are obviously quite good quality, and they're quite easily available and actually quite cost effective as well. But for general video use, they're not a video camera, whereas, you know, a proper video camera is designed to take video. The focus system, all the optics and everything else are geared towards that. So I've had the chance to look at the footage, and I must say, obviously the NX5 camera is an awful lot better. Now, in terms of the settings, what did I do? I've used both cameras pretty much in their stock settings. I've set two things. I've set the exposure, and I've set the white balance. Other than that, I've left it exactly as is. Importing both those AVC HD videos into Final Cut Pro, brought them in and rendered them through my normal process, which is I don't really mess with the colours or any of the saturation or make any adjustments. So the two video images you saw were both exactly as I imported them in. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the quality of the NX5. I'm going to be using that from now on. Now, yeah, they're a different class of camera. The HF S21, the Canon camera, is a consumer camera. It's at the higher end of the consumer cameras. It's a good quality camera. And the NX5, but it's sorry, the Canon is a good quality camera, but it's limited really by its single sensor design. The NX5, on the other hand, is obviously a pro camera. It's got much better optics, much better features, and also it's a 3-sensor camera, which actually, you know, three color sensor camera, which makes a makes a big difference. I think the dynamic range, you know, I've played a little bit around with lighting and used both cameras for a little over the last few days. The dynamic range of the sensor and the quality of the color is so much better with the 3-sensor camera, which is what you'd expect. Now, the HF S21 new is around about $1,000, and the NX5 camera is around about $5,000. So there is a big difference between those two cameras. Now, I'd actually bought the HF S21 brand new, and I've had it 3 years or so. So it cost me about £850 sterling. And you know, to put that into comparison, it took me a while, and I have been searching around, but I bought the NX5 just recently, and I paid £1,400 for it, £1,400. So actually, it's really, you know, when you draw those two comparisons, a really high quality second-hand camera versus a reasonable quality new camera. The price isn't that much difference, but you get so much more for your money. Anyway, I hope that comparison has been in some way useful or interesting. If you've got any questions or any comments, please post them, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you found it interesting, please give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.